What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Realistic Rumour with Ipswich. This is episode number 7, and well, we had a very entertaining episode 6, didn't we? Started off with a big victory against Bournemouth, a big relegation scrap that was, earning just our third victory of the season, but another clean sheet for Murich. And then that was followed by 3 defeats, and 3 difficult defeats, I'd say, because the Wolves and Newcastle games in particular, we were the better side, we dominated the oppositions, and I think both times, I think Jose Sarr and then Dubravka were both man of the match in each game. So I think that shows what happened in those games, right? Obviously, Newcastle, we had that ghost goal as well, which I just don't want to talk about anymore. And then we did get battered at Arsenal, I'll be honest. But, they're up there. They should be battering teams like us. In today's episode, you'll see us take us on Chelsea, Fulham, Aston Villa in the FA Cup as we go through the FA Cup third round ties here. And then rounding off with the home visit of Brighton. We're facing teams that, obviously now we're entering the second half of the season, we're facing teams that we have picked up points against. Brighton, our first victory, Fulham, our first point and goals. So hopefully we can replicate those results in the reverse fixtures. As you can see the table here, 18th right now, 18 games in, 3 wins, 4 draws, 11 defeats. Just a point from safety though, but still feeling good. The performances are there. I think the points will come. A big loss, though, in the Arsenal game. We lost captain Sam Morsy for 3 months. He broke his toe, so he'll be out until the latter stages of the season, which is a big loss for us. So when we go into the January transfer window in this episode, we're going to have to go into the market for the first time and bring in a CDM. We also tweak one of our scouts, Ferraro, who is in Kosovo. We're going to keep him there, but we're now going to scout purely for goalkeepers because we need a goalkeeper in the youth academy to then take part in the youth tournaments, which is a new feature on this year's FC. And I like the fact that we're looking for a goalkeeper from Kosovo because Arijan Muric, our goalkeeper, is from Kosovo as well. So hopefully, if we bring in a keeper, he can kind of nurture them and bring them into the side. Now, of course, with Sam's injury, that means that we have to give someone else the captaincy, and I opted for Leif Davis, our 24-year-old left back. I feel like he's a really good fit. He's been class this season, and I like the idea of the 24-year-old taking the reins from Morsy when he retires, because Morsy is 33 now, so even if he doesn't retire soon, his first team football might come down, and so Leif Davis, I really like him, the idea of him taking on that role and that mantle as captain for the future. And there are examples of young players being captains. The prime one is Ethan Ampadu at Leeds, made captain this season, the Welsh midfielder slash defender now, I guess. He's been fantastic for Leeds. So, yeah, I like the idea of Leif Davis being the captain. And I like, as we head into the first game of today's episode against Chelsea, you would have seen the Tifo with the fans was Leif Davis with that armband. So they're clearly on board with the left back being potentially made captain in the future. Well, as mentioned, Chelsea visiting Portman Road for the first game of today's episode. Enzo Maresca's side not doing as well as in real life. In real life, they're in the top 4, but in our game, they are 10th. 7, 6, and 5, their record as we head into the first game before we're at the halfway stage of the season. Pushing for Europe, though, 27 points. That top half is still kind of tight. They have won 3 of their last 5, though, so they're doing quite well. We'd make 4 changes to this side. O'Shea, Phillips, and Delap back in the squad after rotating Longo injured in for the injured Morsy. It was a quiet first half. Liam Delap forcing a couple of saves from Jorgensen, and then 5 minutes into the second half, former Blue Hutchinson drives all the way before finishing. What a finish this is from Omari. He drops the no celebration, I guess, as he doesn't want to celebrate that goal against his former side. What a moment, though, for Omari. Signed from Chelsea in the summer, was on loan here last year, now a permanent Ipswich player. And he drives all the way after Cucurella tried to take him down. Drives all the way, curls it into the top corner, and we lead this 1-0. And then we'd actually see it out. It was a very quiet 90 minutes between these two sides. But what a victory it is for the Tractor boys. A huge one, a really solid performance. We nullified Chelsea's talented attack and took our chance when it came. 4th victory of the season and our 2nd at home. 3rd episode in a row, by the way, we've started with a win. I'm liking that we're starting well, but we need to carry on well and finish well if we want to get away from this relegation scrap. So after that match, we are now halfway through the season, 19 games in. As we are about to enter January, 19 more to go, and I think we're doing all right as we look at the team of the week there. O'Shea and Johnson making their first appearances of the season in the team of the week. Well done, boys, locking down that right side of the defence. As we look at the table, outside of the relegation zone by 2 points, we leapfrog Nottingham Forest. Halfway stage, look, guys, if we are 17th come the end of the season, 2 points above the relegation zone or just above the relegation zone on goal difference, I'll take it, right? Because that is the sole focus of this season, is just surviving the Premier League, making sure we don't finish in that bottom three. Bournemouth, Southampton, and Forest currently occupying those positions, but it is so tight down there. I think it's going to be a whole scrap between 7 or 8 teams going all the way down to the end of the season. As we look at some of the other results, Everton beat Forest in a big victory. Bournemouth collected a point. And looking at the player stats halfway through, Alexander Isak, the top scorer right now. I mean, with that ghost goal, he is now top scorer. So, might be a tainted trophy if you win it. Looking at the assists, Omari Hutchinson, the only Ipswich player on there with 4. But Ariane Muric, with that clean sheet against Chelsea, he now has 5 and 19. He's 2 off Martinez for the race for the Golden Glove. I mean, 5 clean sheets and 19. If we end the season with 10 clean sheets, I'd be very happy with that. That'd be massively, massively impressive, and that'd be a really good result for Muric. As I feel like we've been quite solid defensively, to be honest. I think that, as you see there, Sam Morsey, 3 bookings. I mean, we're quite well disciplined. We don't get too many bookings. I think that if we can, when we win, we seem to keep clean sheets as well. We're very kind of solid defensively. I know we had those run of results in the last episode where we lost 3 and conceded quite a few, but I just think that overall we do well to slow the game down, to keep it at our pace, and to solidify the defence. And that, I think, might be the key if we want to stay up this season. As we go through some of the players' stats halfway through, not many goal scorers. I mean, look, what is that? 7 different goal scorers after halfway through the season. We haven't scored many goals. We're the league's lowest scorers, of course. So that's why it's important that we take our chances when they come. Omari Hutchinson with 4 assists. Leif Davis with 2 assists and a goal from left back. I love that from him. Ben Johnson chipping in with assist as well. Honestly, I've been really impressed with Ben Johnson. Him playing at right back and filling in as a right centre back allows Leif Davis to push on, which is massive for us. As you'll see here, Louis May, one of our youth academy players, we change him from a striker to a right mid because I think his stats will suit a winger role better. He moves up 2 ratings, but still quite low. We obviously do have quite a lot of players in our youth academy right now. I probably might get rid of a few or give a few scholarships at the end of the season, but I just wanted to fill it up throughout the first season just to see what we can bring in. As we enter January 2025, Cameron Burgess on his way to Rangers. That was a pre-agreed deal a couple of episodes ago. And then we see here, Napoli have recalled Cajuste, which is something that we did anticipate. I did think that this was going to come. He is on his way back to Napoli. So with him going back to Napoli, with Morsey out for 3 months, we only have Luongo, Phillips and Taylor as our CDM. So for me, bringing in a CDM is priority number 1 in this January transfer window. Now, there was a couple of players I had in mind, but this player in particular was the one I had envisioned, and he was my main target. Vini Souza from Sheffield United, the Brazilian CDM, 25 years old, 6'2", has brilliant stats as a CDM, and at 25 he can grow as well. I had a look at Sheffield United to see where they were in the league. They're 10th right now, kind of on the outskirts of the playoffs, but he'll definitely be looking for a move up into the Premier League, and he deserves to be playing in the Premier League as well. He's a fantastic player, so I thought for a cut price deal as well, we could bring him in. We end up agreeing a fee of £6.4 million for the CDM, which I think is peanuts in this day and age, right? In this market, that is not much at all to pay for a player of Vinny's quality. We agree on a £39,000 a week deal, because obviously I want this to be a realistic career mode, so we improve the wage that he's currently on. Give him I think it was a 4-year deal in the end, wasn't it? And some nice bonuses as well. So Vinny Souza becomes our first official signing in this realistic career mode series. Let me know in the comments what you think of this signing. I think he's going to make for great cover for Sam Morsey, but he also could lock down that position for the foreseeable future. Now, we did have this comment to potentially sign American players, which I'm not against. You know, some Americans have come over to English football in the last few years. Brennan Harrison, Christian Pulisic. There are quite a few playing now in the EFL, so I'm not against it. Let me know what you think of the 2 players that I showed from the MLS, because I'm not against us kind of signing any players, but I do want to keep it realistic. But yeah, keep those transfer suggestions coming, because I'm always open to transfer suggestions. As we get our English scouting report here, going through it. The top three, Gale, George, and Nash, look potentially good. I'll keep scouting them further. Some of them, though, I mean, the overall is quite low, or just the potential isn't great as well. So some of them get rejected. As Argentina are the latest national side to come to us, EA really needs to fix this. I wouldn't be getting international offers like this. I think that's the fourth one already this season I've rejected. Just quite unrealistic, isn't it? I mean, the chance of managing Lionel Messi, I mean, it's hard to turn down, but I will turn it down. My focus is with Ipswich and the Tractor Boys. We're going into the second game of the episode and the first one in 2025, the first one in the second half of the season. And we're facing the side who we scored our first goals and our first points against. It's Fulham, who we drew 2-2 with on match day 3. We led 2-0 actually in that game. Was it Liam Delap getting a brace? Potentially, yeah. We were led 2-0 and then Fulham came back to draw 2-2. It was a tough result to take after leading 2-0, but we picked up our first point at the boards and we scored a couple of goals as well. And I'm feeling good. Fulham mid-table right now, but if we continue our run, we're looking to make it back-to-back wins in the league for the first time this season. Let's see if we can do so. Only one change to the side that beat Chelsea. Vinny Souza straight in for his debut. He replaces Luongo and he is next to Calvin Phillips, as we are rocking our really nice, actually, burgundy purpley kit, away kit. It's a really, really nice kit. 4 minutes in, Amari Hutchinson with the first chance of the game. Well, I say first chance of the game. He had a shot from the edge of the box. It was blocked. Goes out for a corner. Hutchinson delivers. Greaves with the header and it's cleared off the line. As it's a fast start. O'Shea with the shot. That is blocked. 13 minutes on the clock. Jack Greaves peppering, and then Vinny Souza comes in and wins possession back. Love that from Vinny. That's exactly what we want from our DM. Want him in there, winning the balls, winning headers, just like this one as well. Vinny Souza already making his presence known, linking up with Amari Hutchinson. Sammy Smodics, out wide to Leif Davis. Leif, what can you do? Wearing the captain's armband, takes on his man. Leif Davis, ball into the box. There's the lap. Come on. 1-0 to the Tractor Boys, 20 minutes in, and it is no more than we deserve. We've dominated this one in the early stages, and we lead 1-0 against Fulham yet again. D&D again, that link up. I'm here for it. Delap's goal drought ended. Well, I mean, it's maybe 3 months since Delap scored, and look, goal drought ended, our fast start rewarded, and that started with Vinny Souza winning the ball, by the way, with that header, linked up with Amari Hutchinson, Leif Davis with the assist, and we lead 1-0, and then Jack Clark with an absolute pile driver. What a finish this is from the winger. 27 minutes, and we are in complete control of this one. That's one of my favourite goals of the season. Leif Davis with a cross, Calvin Bassey with the header out. But what a strike from Jack Clark, fizzing it into the top corner, and we lead 2-0. But as we know, we led against Fulham 2-0 earlier in the season and we didn't win, so we have to be cautious with this one. Well, the boys would be linking up again. Delap to Smodics, Smodics to Hutchinson, Hutchinson back to Delap. Oh, almost a third for the boys, almost a second for Liam, but we head into the break 2-0 up. And then, as you'll notice there, we've spoken about it before, but the changing conditions just makes it so much more immersive. We kicked off in the sunshine. We're ending the game under floodlights in the dark, because that's how we want the weather to work in these games, right? As we see Vinny Souza have a header after his shot was saved as well, looking for a debut goal. But yeah, I really love the fact that they've made the weather conditions more immersive and they change throughout the game. It just adds to the effect, right? Makes it so much more realistic. Well, it'd be lovely link-up play here. Delap almost grabbing his second goal of the game, but we were denied. That was such a lovely passing move. I think it was against Fulham that we actually scored a really nice passing move as well. Almost replicated it there with the Liam Delap goal, but unfortunately Leno made the save. But that would be all she wrote. A 2-0 victory away in West London, and we've made it back-to-back wins for the first time this season. Vinny Souza with a 9.5 on his debut. He was fantastic, so noticeable, winning so many duels, so many headers. Yeah, I think Vinny is going to be a class signing indeed. Jack Clark with the man of the match rating. So back-to-back victories, a third win on the road for us, and our fifth victory in total. 4 points taken off Fulham as well, so a good opposition for us to play. Really comfortable with them, and a sixth clean sheet for Muric. As we move up to 16th place right now, 3 points above the relegation zone. That is a huge victory for Ipswich Town, their first back-to-backs of the season. Now, for me, we mentioned it, I think, a couple of episodes ago, but Chidozie Ogbene, he hasn't been clicking for us, and I know we signed him in the summer, but for me, I just haven't seen anything positive from him. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add him to the loan list, see if we can get him a loan deal, get him playing some football, get him some minutes under his belt, and see if his confidence can go up. As we have an immediate bid coming for him from Aston Villa. Hull also coming in for Ali Al-Hamadi, one of our strikers who I don't think has played a minute this season. He's, third in the pecking order behind Delap and Hurst. I'm not against this sale at all. Him heading to the Championship, he'll get some game time, he'll get some regular minutes. And we agree a £1.8 million fee for the striker, so he'll be heading to Hull. And then, going back to that loan offer from Aston Villa for Ogbene, it was actually a loan to buy, which is always the way with initial offers from the AI. They never just offer a loan. So do you know what? I've never actually done a loan with an option to buy deal before, so I actually accept it. So he'll go to Villa for a 6-month loan deal. They will take 60% of his. They'll pay 40% of his wages, and then we have to negotiate what the potential transfer fee could be if Villa want to keep him on past the end of the season, and we agree on a £4.5 million fee. So Ogbene will be heading to Villa Park to play there for the rest of the season, and then if they like what he produces, Unai Emery will trigger the buy option, and he will stay with them going forward. Now, one of the players I did potentially want to bring in, Danny Ings, his contract running out at the end of the season. He hasn't made an appearance for West Ham, but I had an issue here, and this is an issue that I kind of haven't really realised until now. But if their contract is running out at the end of the season, you can't approach to sign them now, which is really frustrating because I can sell players whose contracts are running out at the end of the season, but I can't sign players whose contracts are running out at the end of the season. The only way I can bring in Danny Ings is agreeing a pre-contract, so which would mean he would come at the end of the season. I wanted to bring him in because I thought he'd be great cover for Liam Delap, a bit of Premier League experience, a different kind of striker, a bit of a fox in the box. But unfortunately, I can't bring him in, which is actually something that FC and EA need to acknowledge, because that's really frustrating. I could have offered West Ham a cut price deal. They could have got some money for him rather than him going for free at the end of the season. Everyone would have won, right? Very frustrating. And then so I thought, okay, I can't bring in Danny Ings. I want to bring in a different experienced Premier League striker who, again, isn't getting many minutes. I think Mikel Antonio has played one league game this season. I went to ask to bring him in on loan, and they said that they couldn't because his contract length was too short to allow for a loan. Now, I don't know what that means because Antonio's contract isn't up at the end of the season. I can't sign him on a pre-contract. So it means that he's got at least a year on his contract, right? So how could he not go out on loan? That just makes zero sense. It was a really frustrating period for me because I wanted to bring in a backup striker for Liam just to offer some support and offer some experience as we head into this end of the season with a relegation scrap on our hands. And I thought Ings or Antonio would be a perfect fit to bring in on loan. And it's just frustrating that we couldn't do either of those. So, yeah, it looks like we're going to have to bring in someone permanently if we do at all. But yeah, just disappointing, you know. Now, heading into the third game of the episode, it would be Aston Villa visiting Portman Road in the FA Cup third round. The board want us to reach the last 16 of this cup competition, but our priority, of course, is and always will be the league. We made 7 changes to the starting lineup from the team that beat Fulham. Ogbene in to face the side that he's joining on loan, so he can prove himself a little bit. But it would be a kind of a dull 0-0. George Hurst hit the bar with a header, but that was kind of all that happened in this one, so we would head into extra time. Now, I just want to touch on Villa quickly because, I mean, last week they beat Bayern Munich in the Champions League. They've made it 2 wins from 2 in the new league format in the Champions League. They are doing incredibly well, Aston Villa, but that victory for them was such a historic one. To beat Bayern Munich, the 6-time champions of the competition, was fantastic, and the job that Unai Emery is doing there is just so commendable. So yeah, big props to Villa for that one. And well, yeah, Villa beat us in the league earlier in the season. They are currently battling Man City for the title, so this was always going to be a tough tie for us. But as the game went on, it felt like maybe we could snatch something, and in the 114th minute, Chaplin finds Luongo, and Massimi Luongo with the long range effort with 5 minutes to go in the second half of extra time. Looks like he's won it for Ipswich Town. Wearing the armband after Leif Davis went off. Luongo, look, he's playing for a contract. His contract is up at the end of the season. I am going to be releasing him. But if you put in performances like that, Luongo, and give us moments like that, I might be forced to reconsider. Laid off by Connor Chaplin. Luongo in off the post, beating Emi Martinez. What an effort that was. And can we see this one out now and secure our place in the fourth round of the FA Cup? Well, Luongo would give the ball away to Ollie Watkins. What a nightmare. Watkins, what can you do there? Cross comes in. Headed away. Get it out to Nzabi. Oh my god. That was heart in the mouth stuff at Ipswich Town as they nearly caused catastrophe in their own end. Almost scoring an own goal. I don't know what happened there, but we see it out. Victory over Aston Villa. We're through to the fourth round of the FA Cup, whilst also rotating the team, so that's kind of a win-win. Goal for Luongo, assist for Chaplin. It was an ugly game, but in the FA Cup, results are all that matters, not performances. And, well, look, the board wants us to reach the last 16. We've only got to win one more game to achieve that objective. But I was quite impressed with the team, you know. Obviously, playing a side that are competing for the Premier League title. They're playing in Europe now. They beat us earlier in the season. I'm quite happy with that result indeed. Now, there were some shock results in the FA Cup. Tranmere beating Chelsea. Hull knocked out Arsenal. I think Tottenham beat Liverpool as well. So that's three of the big boys immediately out of the competition. So maybe a chance for a little cup run for Ipswich. Who knows? I guess we'll see who we get in the fourth round. Reject a big bid from RB Leipzig coming in for Leif Davis, the German club. He is not going anywhere. And then Crystal Palace actually come in for Ogbene as well. Same deal with Aston Villa, offer a loan to buy. So we sit down with Oliver Glasner and basically agree the same sort of deal that we had with Villa. A short-term loan, split in the wages, and then a transfer fee. I think this transfer fee was slightly higher than the Aston Villa one, so I'd actually rather he went to Palace than Aston Villa. But either way, he's going to be out on loan, whilst Al Hamadi heads to Hull City for just shy of £2 million. And speaking of Hull, though, that will be the Tigers will be our fourth round FA Cup opponents, a home tie against the Tigers, mid-placed in the championship right now. So that could be a very favourable fixture for us to get into the fifth round of the FA Cup. As we see Ogbene, he chooses Aston Villa over Crystal Palace. He'll be heading there on loan for the rest of the season. And then a really interesting offer from Everton coming in for Nathan Broadhead. Now, if we were in the summer, I probably would have accepted that deal because I don't see Broadhead involved in this team. But I don't want to overturn too many things. We're still midway through a Premier League season. We need the depth. And we've just got rid of Ogbene, so I don't want to get rid of Broadhead as well. So I do reject that offer. Now, with Ogbene going, I did want to bring in a winger to kind of offer that cover. And again, I was looking at experienced players in the Premier League that haven't played many minutes for their clubs this season. I was looking at the stats. Jacob Murphy was one of them who has played one game for Newcastle all season, and he actually scored in it, to be fair to him. So I thought, okay, this would be a perfect player to bring in on loan, right? Experienced head, 29 years old, get some minutes under his belt for Ipswich, and they reject the offer. Once again, left frustrated. For me, that makes no sense. Newcastle aren't in a relegation scrap. Murphy's played one Premier League game all season. A team in the relegation scrap want to bring him in on loan for the rest of the season. Surely that just makes sense for them to accept, right? Or even negotiate. The fact that they said no straight away, it just infuriates me. And then again, Philogene, who other end of the spectrum to Murphy, who is a young player who wants to get minutes. He's not played much for Villa in the league, and they've just signed Ogbene from us, so he's going to go even further down the pecking order. Maybe we could bring him in, give him some minutes for a side, and they reject it as well. So I don't know if that's something that needs to be looked at by EA, because I feel like being able to loan players in that aren't up for loan, it's impossible. They don't negotiate it at all, which is, I don't think that's very realistic, right? Because some clubs, they would perhaps entertain a loan deal that they didn't expect if it works for all parties. So in the end, we go for a permanent signing, another signing from the Championship, and a player that I'm very excited to bring in, by the way, Wilfred Nonto, the 21-year-old Italian from Leeds, 76 rated, bags of talent, bags of potential as well. And Leeds, well, I mean, they had their team kind of torn apart in the summer. They lost Archie Gray, Crescencio Somerville, Jorginho Ruta, all go into Premier League sides. They're now going to lose Wilfred Nonto to another Premier League side. He comes to Portman Road for £17 million, 5-year deal for the 21-year-old, £36,000 a week. Really happy with this one, to be honest. I know that he wasn't our first choice because we wanted to loan in a winger, but I think Wilfred's going to be a key addition to us and a massive upgrade from Ogbene. We give Wilfred the number 11, and look, he's an exciting prospect. He is a class player, someone who's lit up the Championship over the last few years and definitely deserves to be playing Premier League football. So welcome, Wilfred, our second signing as Ipswich manager. We're heading into the fourth and final game of the episode. We have dropped into the relegation zone, as you would see there, but victory against Brighton would take us back above that dotted line. And can you believe it? We're looking for a 100% record in this episode. 4 wins from 4. I didn't think I'd be saying that anytime soon. But if we are to do so, we'll be completing the double over Brighton, beating the Seagulls back in August, 2-1 away from home on the south coast, securing our first 3 points of the season. We welcome them to Portman Road with a strong side. I mean, Kempembe in the back, the former PSG defender. Matoma, obviously an absolute weapon on the wing. A free-flowing attacking side managed by the youngest manager in Premier League history, Fabian Herzler, just 31 years old. The Seagulls, 15th in the league right now, but in real life, I mean, they just completed a brilliant comeback on the weekend against Tottenham. 2-0 down at half-time. 15 minutes into the second half, they led 3-2, and they went on to see the game out. What a victory for Brighton, and what a harrowing defeat for Ange Postecoglou and his side, who were on a run of 5 straight wins in all competitions. Looked like they were going to make it 6, but unfortunately they did not do so. In this one, Muric is looking for his 7th clean sheet, which would take him joint top of the Golden Glove race. And, well, a part of someone who helps his clean sheets is the defence, right? And Jacob Greaves, a key man in that, gives us a 1-0 lead. I feel like we're just so OP at corners, right? The 6'5" centre-back, the ball is just put on his head from Jack Clark. He towers over everyone and heads home his second goal of the season. His other goal, a 1-0 win at Tottenham. So hopefully Jacob Greaves scoring means we keep on winning. Well, João Pedro would have a fantastic chance for Brighton here. I don't know how he didn't release the trigger. And then on the stroke of half-time, Sammy Szmodok's trying to find Omari Hutchinson with the ball over the top. Is that going to be half-time? No, the referee is going to allow it to play on. Liam Delap finds a beautiful ball to Leif Davis. He's got Omari Hutchinson at the back stick. Here is Hutchinson! Ipswich lead 2-0 on the stroke of half-time. I thought the referee was going to blow. We'd played the 2 allotted minutes, but the referee allowed the attack to go on. Delap to Davis. Davis with yet another assist, and Hutchinson with his second goal of the episode. He scored the first goal this episode in the 1-0 win v Chelsea. Has he just secured us a 100% record and a 4th win of the episode against Brighton? Well, in the second half, Brighton would push back. João Pedro forcing Muric into a smart save, but he is looking for his 7th clean sheet. And then Jack Clark didn't look like he was going to get to that ball, but what an acrobatic effort that was, forcing a save. And then in the 66th minute, Portman Road rises to their feet as they see their latest star arrive and make his debut. Wilfred Gnonto coming on for the last 24-ish minutes. Can he make an impact? Well, corner comes in. Jacob Greaves, can he get a second of the game? No, he can't. It is cleared away. Heading into the final 15 minutes, Liam Delap driving into the box. Can he get our third? No. Smart save from Steele, but it is all Ipswich right now. They are very deserving of this 2-0 lead. João Pedro, though, dancing around Jacob Greaves. Can Brighton mount a late comeback here? March finds Pedro. The clean sheet is gone, and the deficit is halved. And all of a sudden, it is nervy here at Portman Road. 5 minutes to go. Fabian is buzzing with that. Can Brighton snatch an equaliser here? An unlikely equaliser. Can they deny us a 100% record in this episode? O'Reilly with the ball. Oh my God, we've lost it. João Pedro for the double. Jacob Greaves with the big defending. Connor Townsend gets rid, and the referee blows full time. What an episode, man. 4 wins from 4. 3 league wins on the bounce is incredibly huge for our chances of survival. We've doubled our league wins for the season in this episode alone, as Omari Hutchinson with an 8.9 rating. He gets man of the match with the goal. Jacob Greaves with the other goal. We complete the league double over Brighton. The fans singing, "Can we play you every week" at full time. What an episode, guys. 4 wins from 4, 3 in the league. We're moving away from the relegation zone. We're through to the next round of the Cup. We've signed 2 massive players for the team as well. We've really improved the squad, I think, personally. As you see at the top of the table there, at Man City with a 2-point lead over Aston Villa, who then have an 8-point lead over the North London sides. But little old Ipswich Town, look at us now, up to 13th place. Just 3 points above the drop, though. It is still so tight around there. 3 points separating 18th and us in 13th. I feel like this is going to go down to the wire and every point is going to be massive. But what a massive episode, guys. Drop a like on the video if you're enjoying the series. Sub to the channel if you haven't already. We're on the road to 1,000 subs. And I'll see you in episode 8 very soon.